Hey all, Dan here again. Today's AMA, Ask Me Anything. We get this one actually a lot, and it's from a bunch of different people, so I'm not going to list like 17 names about it, but it's actually quite an interesting question. The question we get is, do we tune our ear tips for our IEMs? A lot of companies make a big deal about, well, you need this specific ear tip or that specific ear tip, or you need the one that we built in order to get the best sound. Flat answer, no, we don't. In our opinion, an ear tip should do one thing and one thing only: seal the outside world from the inside world. And what I mean by that is, when you put your IEMs in, it should seal all outside sound from getting into your ear canal past the ear tip itself, and thus corrupting the sound. We need to create a little small sealed chamber in there so we can properly pressurize, get that skull-crushing bottom end that just extends super low and ultra deep like we have, but also maintain great imaging, lack of noise, everything else that just kind of happens with a good set. So that's the first thing you should do. The second thing you should do is the center bore, that's called the bore actually, the center part that comes down the middle, that needs to stay open enough and not collapse in on itself, such that when you put them in, they don't close over and basically cut off the speaker. Because what that'll do is it will attenuate the high frequencies, and then it's not going to sound as bright and full and detailed as it really should. So that's one of the things that we look at is we design our ear tips for basically three things. Number one, comfort. Because, well, let's face it, if it's not comfortable, you're not going to freaking wear it. I mean, nobody likes to go around going, my ears hurt so much. The sound is great, but damn, they hurt so much. Nobody's going to wear them. So number one, they got to be comfortable. Number two, they can't collapse. The bore cannot collapse. It needs to stay open. It needs to just transmit the sound through. I mean, the sound comes out of the nozzle on the ear tip. That comes on out. It needs to go right through. So we use a dual durometer. I'll get to that in a second. The third thing it needs to do, be incredibly reliable. That's why we make them out of medical grade silicones and urethane, so they last 3 to 6 months. You don't have to worry about them breaking down. Now earlier, just about 10 seconds ago, I mentioned about durometer. Durometers actually measure stiffness. We're probably one of the few companies on the face of the earth that does a dual durometer shot on our ear tips. It's not a single piece of silicone that's put in there. There's actually two pieces of silicone that are put into the mold before it's compression set and heated and cured. And what that is we use a very stiff one, a very high durometer, a 70 durometer actually, for the center bore, and then we do use a very soft one, a 35 durometer, for everything on the outside. Lower numbers are softer, higher numbers are stiffer. For reference point, a urethane wheel on a roller blade is about a 90 durometer. So we use a pretty stiff center material, so that way when you slide it onto the IEM, it'll stay engaged, but it's also not going to collapse down from the pressure of your ear. It's going to be relatively stiff, and we use incredibly soft on the outside, so it doesn't create pressure points or pain or anything like that. The same thing is true of our foam ear tips. We use a very strong center bore of 70 durometer silicone, and then we use our molded urethane of about a 30 to 32 Shore A durometer on the outside, so it's very soft and compliant. It comes on in. That keeps the tip from rolling over too much and squeezing the life out of your sound by squeezing the life out of the bore. So, long story short, we don't tune for a specific ear tip. It shouldn't be that way. On the other hand, we assume that you're going to have a good ear tip that doesn't collapse and is not uncomfortable to start with. So you perfectly find a tip roll, as a lot of people call that, tip rolling, trying a lot of different tips. See what works best for you, what you like best. But we recommend just going with something that's going to have a nice, stiff inner core. The bore's not going to shut down on you. It's not going to close off the sound. And you can probably end up with the best sound. So, there you go. Do we tune our IEMs for our specific ear tips? Nope. We tune them for a good ear tip. That's the whole point. So, there you go. Have a great day. We'll see you again later.